Welcome back. We have a Power Pack show lined up for you. As the G20 Leaders Summit approaches, the meeting of the Business 20 grouping, the largest of the 11 G20 engagement groups, got off to an auspicious start this week and developed through intensive discussions at 9 specific groups over India's presidency year. The submissions align with the G20 theme of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future. B20 India, helmed by Tata Sons chairman N. Chandrasekaran, organized deliberations around the overarching theme of RAISE, which means responsible, accelerated, innovative, sustainable and equitable businesses. Listen in to few of the prominent voices here.
India is in a position where we are consuming a lot more steel than we were all these years. On the other side, the other parts of the world, whether it's China, whether it's Japan, whether it is Korea, the growth rates have slowed down, and there is a lot of pressure on those countries or those companies to export their products into India. And that's why we are seeing a lot more steel is coming into India. And now the disadvantage of that is, though the feeling in the let's say in the decision making parts of the government is that the MSME sector depends upon imported steel or depends upon lower cost of steel, and it will get hurt. But actually speaking, that is not the real situation, because the price of steel is international. It doesn't get impacted whether Chinese steel is allowed to come into India or not. It doesn't affect the domestic steel prices. Domestic steel prices reflect what is happening in the world markets. So therefore, we should, in fact, Steel Ministry has been recommending that, and also the Commerce Ministry has been recommending that we should restrict imports of steel coming into India.
So talking about a news which was quite there a few months ago, you are interested in MG Motors, India operations. What's status there? What's the status currently? You're still in talks with them?
Well, we are having our discussions, and there are a lot of to and fro is going on. So I cannot give you any conclusive answer right now whether it's happening or not happening. But it is discussions and it's work under progress.
But are you serious about your mind? Because you earlier also forayed into electric vehicle space. Then there was some problem. Was that now you're looking at?
No, we are
equity. Is it? What is it looking at? What are you looking at?
No, we are very serious about entering the EV space. It happens through MG would be preferred choice. Otherwise, we are also working parallelly to develop our own EV car.
EV car, when that can be seen, but you are very, very bullish about EV market as such.
Bullish as in we feel that it's an area where we must enter as a country. We must because this is the future of the cars. EV is the future. So I'm sure that this is a good time to enter.
IT sector is a reflection of what is happening around the world, the global economy, and as the global economy is going through a slower period right now, Indian IT services industry is impacted, right? I strongly believe that these cycles are not very long. Typically in the past, these cycles are like 12 months to 18 months, and we are probably somewhere in the middle. And I feel that next year we'll probably see growth again. So I'm optimistic in the medium to long term. Now, how long will this last? Very difficult to say, because it is not very predictable. But from past experience, these things last 12 to 18 months.
So 12 to 18 months is what you're saying that this slump, the current IT slump will last for. In terms of margin, operational efficiencies, how do you think companies can then maintain margins?
See, margin is a function of how efficiently you run the business, how you are distributing your workforce. If all your workforce is in developed countries, clearly you will see costs going up. And that is the reason why all the multinational corporations do their global R&D in India now, right? Because the costs are lower. So you have to efficiently and smartly leverage locating your people in geographies where there are lower costs. Now, the companies that have done it efficiently will see the benefit of lower costs.
When you mention lower costs, I think AI is also one of the spheres, that many IT companies are engaging in. Topaz by Infosys, which was unveiled recently. How do you think, that is going to change the IT sector?
So first of all, AI will be leveraged by IT services companies. They are already, working with their customers on AI projects, AI programs.
Well, there's no doubt that as far as India is concerned, we have a pretty good runway ahead of us in terms of our economic growth. The government is doing its part in terms of policy perspectives, policy implementation. The industry is beginning to do its part in terms of creating capacities. But we have a lot more that we need to do on our plate. We have to somehow create, India is a large country with 1.4 billion people. We need to create a lot more inclusivity in our economic activity.
So talking about again your space in which you have a clear, quite a significant presence, Indians recently 8,000 crore almost Defense Acquisition Council proposal that has been cleared. Lot is clearly on your plate already. 80% of your exports are happening to of defense equipments. What's your assessment as far as overall defense sector is concerned on a large scale? What's your plan going to be from here on? What's the larger picture?
I think India's defense industry is just going to keep growing. And it's going to keep growing for 2 or 3 simple reasons. Number one, the regulatory hurdle for defense manufacturing has gone, which was there before, licensing and all those kinds of things. The mindset of Indian manufacturers, the earlier mindset was like everything else, you can't do this, you have to go outside and get technology, and only then you can do it. That mindset is gone. Now, just like Chandrayaan-3, people believe that Indians themselves can send a spacecraft to the moon and land on the South Pole. Same thing is happening in defense. And that technology, just like the space, is going to be way ahead of other technologies in many areas.
Apollo has the greatest number outside metros, and it's really always tough for us to get talent. But the thing is that we're able to think through technology and do this. So while Tier 2 will become the next big thing, India has enough cities that are emerging that is going to keep the hospital sector very, very busy for the next decade.
Yes, ma'am, one last question before we let you go. When you speak about technology, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of discussion around artificial intelligence. That's, of course, becoming mainstream in so many sectors. How will that be employed in the hospital sector, and how will it sort of bring efficiencies?
To give you a case in point, Apollo Hospitals has, in the last 3 years, through our digital platform Apollo 247, we've created a clinical intelligence engine with actually the data that we've been able to get of our experience with dealing with so over 1,200 cases, which is 90% of the disease burden today. And with that, using intelligence, generative AI, we're able to get an 80% accuracy. So if you can smoothen 80% for a doctor to do and use this cognitive ability and his expertise for 20%, then you'll make sure that when you go from doctor to doctor to doctor, you're going to get a smoother experience. And I think that will be a game changer in healthcare. So you're going to get better diagnosis, you're going to be able to get it faster. And thankfully, we've worked on a solution, and this is actually the right time that it'll come to fruition.